Okay.
All right. Welcome everyone to YouTube live stream. We got a special story trading presentation here. We're revealing a new story trading VIP pick. First, a quick disclaimer. Story trading is not an investment advisor, and investing in securities involves significant risk of loss. For those of you not familiar with story trading is the art of understanding market pricing, also known as the story behind the trade, through the lens of the four pillars of fundamentals, catalysts, sentiment, and technicals. We have an app coming up to scale over our experience. We have a very awesome community making tons of money. We collaborate on WhatsApp and on Zoom. We're going to be scaling that. Actually, we just started private beta now on our app. It's going to be the place to discover, collaborate, and validate market-moving information through crowdsourced research and social collaboration. Please make sure to sign up for a wait list so you can get an invite code to that app. Now, we have tons of VIP picks dramatically outperforming the market. The most recent example was Air Test Systems, which has done incredible. It's up some, 700% in the last 30 days or so, 90 days or so. So with that, we got lots of picks coming into the community. We started a new vetting process at storytrading.com/submit VIP. And from that process, we got a new VIP pick from our guests coming up right now. Actually, there, Jared Plotkin from Atticus Analysis.
Hi, glad to be here.
Great. So we're going to share actually right after this show. He made a VIP presentation on Zoom to our community about 10 days ago, and the stocks are already up 7 or 8%. So people who are paid subscribers of Story Trading got a heads up on that. That presentation is going to be released in full shortly after this live. Here in this live, we're going to talk a little bit about that VIP presentation. Before we do that, one of the things we want to let people know is we're starting a new way to support our contributors like Jared and reward them for sharing research. And if it's helped you make money, we've had tons of VIP picks, as you know, with Air Test System making a lot of money, HCI already up 9%. So Jared goes out of his way, does a lot of research, shares that research with you. So we want to share the rewards with our contributors. That motivates them to come back to the story trading community and collaborate with everybody. So I encourage you to go ahead and click that $sign anytime you hear some great information from Jared on this YouTube presentation. Definitely go ahead and give him a little tip. Also, we'll be back in the future. Hopefully, HCI will do great, and you'll have a further opportunity to thank him for the great research he shares with you. So HCI, around 124.13, it's $1 billion company. Again, it's been up 9%. Here's the stock chart, has been incredible. This is it corrected a little bit lately. This is a chart from last week. So I'm going to just stop the share, Jared, and everyone will have a chance to look at the full presentation on our YouTube in a bit. But after the presentation we had last week, we turned off the recording and we had a nice conversation and we got to know HCI even better. And we talked about, how this could really, really be something special. I wonder if you can kind of clarify, I think you have some new slides for us, why you think this can be very successful. You had some comparisons to Geico, and then also some similarities in the business model to Upstart. So if you can go through those slides, that'd be great.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the new slides that I made looking at Upstart and Geico. This is just a brief disclosure page. And then I wanted to just do a little bit of a review of some of the stuff that I talked about in case there are people who are joining us now who haven't seen the first conversation yet. So brief review, HCI has an upcoming InsurTech spinoff called TipTap, which is based on big data. The spinoff date will be announced soon, which should be a huge positive catalyst. And HCI trades well below other InsurTech multiples. So if it was in line with other property insurance insurtech firms, this would be a $440 stock. And
440. Hold on. Let me just make sure I have the right stock here. HCI is $124 right now.
yes,
It's already up dramatically this year, maybe over 100%. And you're saying it could be worth $440. So I have that right?
yes.
All right, cool. Go on.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you could potentially compare it to Geico. So remember, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yep.
Well, TipTap is cheaper than its peers, and a quote just takes 7 minutes or less. You can go to tiptap.com and you can actually see just how fast it is. And one thing I really liked is Warren Buffett said that he knew that Geico was a long-term winner because it had superior loss ratios that allowed it to compound very quickly. So they lost less money than other insurance companies. Well, TipTap has a loss ratio of 47% versus an industry average of 68%. Now, that might not sound like a big difference, but that means out of every single dollar of premium, TipTap makes 65% more profit than other property insurance companies.
Wow. All right. Sounds great.
So you could also compare TipTap to Upstart, which Phase 2 partners did in their presentation in June. And that's a great presentation. I definitely recommend you check that one out too. But both of them rely on big data algorithms to disrupt traditional financing and improve profitability. TipTap's big data relies on location, building materials, proximity to fire hydrants, elevation, and more. And this is an underfollowed company. This has, as of right now, um, there's only like 250 people following it on stock twits. There's almost nobody talking about it on YouTube. I think we're going to be the first dedicated YouTube video talking about HCI as an investment. This is like getting into Upstart before it got noticed, or frankly, it's almost like getting into Upstart before it had the IPO, because buying HCI now is effectively buying TipTap before the IPO even happens, because they haven't done the spinoff yet. And just in case you're not aware, HCI currently owns 88% of TipTap. And Upstart, in my opinion, it has additional risks other than the hype factor. The additional risk is that it has to have partners working with it to give it these loans, and it also has very heavy concentration. I think they said recently that 80% of their loans are related to one single bank branch, versus TipTap doesn't rely on any financing partners to write policies. So that makes it potentially more resilient to problems in the future. Now, how fast is this company really growing? I think that it can be difficult to kind of measure the growth of insurance companies, right? So currently it's growing at about 100% year over year. That's faster than other insurtech companies. And it's even slightly ahead of Upstart. Yeah, Upstart's growing at 82% year over year. So this is actually faster than Upstart. And this is a really good quote. This is the CEO just 2 quarters ago bragging about how fast this company was growing and how effective it was. This is a quote from him in their report. Yesterday, with fewer than 250 active agents, TipTap averaged a quote every 64 seconds, and it sold a policy every 6 minutes. It generated over 1 million in gross written premium on a single day. It proves that our automatic underwriting technology can scale to large numbers with little incremental overhead. So this is the CEO just 2 quarters ago bragging that on their best day ever, they made 1 million.
So let me stop you right here.
Yeah.
Hold on, because you said a couple of things that's mind blowing.
Sure.
You're saying, tell me has automatic underwriting technology. It's growing faster than UPST.
Yes.
How is that? Like, what does UPST do? Is that they also have some sort of automatic, something similar to kind of automatic underwriting, right?
Yes, they have a way to automate getting private consumer loans, and then they match that with a bank partner who is automatically willing to approve the loan based on the information that Upstart gathered from its like initial online questionnaire, basically. And this is similar in that instead of having an insurance agent physically go to your house with a little notepad and inspect your house, you just upload a picture of your house and then type in a very short questionnaire. It takes 7 minutes or less, and then based on all of the data that they'll have about the neighborhood, they'll algorithmically generate a quote which is going to be more profitable than the average insurance company. So yeah, what's so amazing to me is that just 2 quarters ago, they were bragging about making 1 million in their best day ever. And in their most recent quarter, they made over 2 million per day on average.
Wow.
So that's
That's
pretty cool.
revenue. That's revenue.
That's gross written premiums.
Okay.
So this is a map. This is from Phase 2 Partners Report showing what TipTap's expansion looked like as of June. As you can see, they were operating in just 3 states, and they were approved to start operating in about a dozen more. If you go to tiptap.com today, this is what it actually looks like. So as you can see, in just 1 quarter, like 1 quarter ago, they were in just 3 states, and now they're in half the country.
Oh my gosh, in one
And
quarter.
because this growth has happened in the past few months, those numbers are most likely not showing up in the Q2 report. And that means that real growth rates are probably much higher than 100%, and we'll find out more about that in November. And one thing that I think is really nice, if you compare this to other tech companies, like I think Chewy is a really good example. HCI is really helping to hyper accelerate TipTap's growth by buying out customer lists from other feeling insurance companies and then rolling them over at more profitable rates. And that's a lot better proposition than the expensive customer acquisition ads that most tech companies rely on. Chewy has a really interesting business model, but one of the things they've been criticized for is that they have to spend a huge amount of money on ads to continue to bring in customers. And the more you do that, the more the ads cost and the smaller profit margins that they get over the lifetime of that customer's subscription because of that. But this particular model of just buying out entire customer lists is a lot more profitable than customer acquisition ads.
Very nice. Love that growth.
So yeah, I think that is the end of my slides.
So let's pull up some charts here.
Sure.
Let me share my screen. All right. So okay, there we have HCI. So it's fascinating to me that the volume on this is so low. Very few people know about this.
Yes.
What is it? 60,000, 50,000, 100,000 shares a day, something like that. It's a $1 billion market cap. The stock is up well over 100% this year. But what's the market cap of UPST? Do you have that offhand?
I don't. Let me actually pull that up. I think it's like 60 billion or something.
Yeah. 60 billion. Sounds about right. Let's see.
29 billion. Right, okay.
29
I guess too
billion.
high.
So 30 times Upstart is 30 times bigger than HCI, but HCI is growing perhaps faster than Upstart with a similar kind of technology behind it.
Yes.
They're about to have a spinoff, and very, very few people are following this. The social media footprint is like nothing. And that's what got me thinking is, when people find out about this stock, could this be the next Upstart? And I know, when you look at this, it looks like it's gone up a lot already, but it's only a $1 billion market cap.
Yeah, this chart is actually a lot better than it looks. If you really look into it, you can see that the growth isn't always completely steady in terms of the share price, but almost every single time you have a significant jump in the price. The pullback that follows that is a lower volume pullback. You can see the volume fading into the pullback, which I really like to see. That's kind of a sense that the weaker hands are being shaken out and the people that are buying a lot are holding on to it. You can even see that in the most recent pullback that has happened in the past like 2 or 3 days. As you can see, like about a week ago, the volume buying the stock was much higher than the volume selling the stock. And so, yeah, I feel like you can almost see the accumulation that's been going on here.
And this is another way to kind of look at that unbalanced volume. It's this adds up the green bar volume and subtracts the red bar volume, and you can see it's positive. A kind of different way to OBV to kind of show that accumulation.
What program is this?
This is E-Trade Pro.
Oh, I should get this. That's awesome. I did not know about that. That's really, really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us more about this catalyst. TipTap is spinning off. Tell us everything you know about that. There's a S1, the valuation of TipTap.
Yes. So they first announced, I think it was in August of last year, that they were going to be exploring this. But as is the case very, very often, when somebody just says, we're thinking about doing this, the market usually doesn't really care that much. It's like, okay, well, that might not ever actually happen. So it wasn't given a lot of credit for that until March of this year, when Centerbridge Partners did a private placement with HCI, buying some HCI stock and also buying a share of TipTap before it has its spinoff, and also buying warrants at a very high strike price. So this is a good private placement. You always want to see private placements where people are willing to buy the stock above market prices. Basically, when you see that, what you're having is you're having a company saying, I would love to buy up all the stock of the company right now, but I can't do that because it's such a low volume stock that if I tried to do that, the price would just explode too quickly. So that's the reason why they did that. It's a very bullish indicator. And ever since then, the stock has been going up in preparation for the spinoff now that it's been validated by Centerbridge, which is a very large, private investment firm. And then in August, their most recent report, their Q2 report, they said that they are filing a confidential S1 in preparation for the spinoff. We don't know when the date will be, but in terms of how long it takes for a spinoff IPO to get ready, usually it takes somewhere between 2 to 5 months, and it's already been 2 months. So I'm guessing that it should be sometime soon. Possibly it will be announced that, the date will be announced in the Q3 report. And one of the things that I mentioned in my previous presentation was that if you look at other companies that are small and underfollowed and then announce a spinoff, they tend to go up a lot. Spinoffs tend to get a lot of positive
Yep.
attention, but they tend to go up the most after the date is announced.
Yep.
I think that's because, again, people don't like the idea of, oh, this will happen eventually. It's like, well, eventually is just, it's not a time frame people like. But as soon as you actually set a date, that gives people a sense of certainty, and it also allows people to do things like buy options with confidence. And allowing people to buy options is always going to push the share price up because of the way gamma squeeze works. That's getting a little bit in the weeds, but like there are reasons why a stock will tend to go up when the date is actually announced, even though you and I right now, we know that this is almost certainly going to happen at some point within the next like 3 months. But people will treat it differently once it actually has a date attached to it.
Yeah, and you're right about that. This is a great catalyst to get into these situations before the data is announced and that price appreciation after they. I have personal experience, two different cases. One was 3Com spinning off Palm. Man, that stock exploded when they set that spin-off date for Palm. Palm Pilot is going back some 20, 25 years. And then you had Yahoo and the Alibaba spinoff. Man, that morning when the date was announced, it was a Friday morning when they announced the date for the Alibaba spinoff. I jumped into call options right at the opening bell at like 9:30 a.m. I got these like out of the money calls expiring that day for a nickel. I ended up making like $200,000 that day. It was the single biggest trade in my life until air, which was a 7-figure profit for me. But that was the single biggest profit I ever had at the time. And it was exactly because what you're saying. As soon as the date is announced, everyone piles in. That's just a fact. So it's a great pick here. Great pick you have for the VIP community. Our VIP members, again, are already up 8% on this. Let's take this opportunity since we're on live. Is my screen sharing? Oh, I thought it was, but it's not. I guess it's not. But since we're on live, oh, look at that. We got a couple tips coming in. Thank you guys. We got from Manelli in 1999. Thank you for your research on this stock. And Ariel, $5 tip. Really wonderful information here. StoryTrading is so helpful. While we're on, we got a bunch of people on live. If anyone has any questions for Jared on HCI or on any other StoryTrading stock, we can pull up some charts. We can talk about it. There's been a lot of action on Air Test Systems, SMSI, looking at my watch list here, TPCS. Lots of VIP picks, just doing great for the community. Everyone's making a lot of money at StoryTrading. So if you have any questions, any charts you want pulled up, we could do that right now. And again, I just want to remind people, let me pull up my share one more time. Here we go. want to remind people again, this is how you can support our contributors. Just hit that $sign right there on the bottom right. It's very easy. And this money makes its way over to our contributors and encourages them to share with us in the future.
Yeah,
So,
I really appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. And we'll be back again when HCI does what you say it's going to do, and it's going to go up, and they're going to have the date for the spinoff for TipTap, and people make a ton of money. We'll be back and give people another opportunity to show their appreciation to you in the future. Let's just pull up. Let's just pull up a couple charts here since we got everyone on live, because we got, if you don't mind hanging on with us, Jared.
I don't mind.
Check this out. This is Air Test Systems. It's freaking exploded. This was a VIP pick by Ashley Day at like 250. He ended up closing that at like 1550, but I still have my trade idea open on that at 270. I opened up a trade idea, had a trade idea presentation on that, which you can track on a spreadsheet. And that's still open for me. I am not willing to close this yet at $22. Working with Rex, our technician, he thinks this can hit $24-25 before any sort of resistance, which is the all-time highs. Look how far you got to go back. Oh my. See if I can even do this.
It's been a great performer. Unfortunately, I was a little late to the story. I was buying it at $12.
There we go.
But I mean, obviously buying at $12 was still a great profit. So I'm super happy to have gotten involved. I actually found StoryTrading because I was looking at Air. It came up on a screen, and
cool.
I was just seeing if anyone was talking about it on Twitter, and obviously you were talking about it a lot. So that's how I originally found you.
Nice, cool. So I actually still have a majority of my position from 270. So it's $22, and I still own over 50% of the shares. I did sell some last week to rotate into Dario. Maybe we'll take a minute to talk about that. But this is what Rex is looking at, the all-time highs here. So 22, and he thinks 24, 25 at this point. There's really no technical resistance for this to happen up here. So that's what we're looking at. I think I may shave some off in the 24 to 25 range. Rex is looking at possibly mid 30s beyond that. I think it may take a catalyst, another order for that to happen. So that's Air. Let me pull up Dario, because this is what I took some money out of Air on Friday or Thursday because I wanted to get into Dario. Dario Health. Let's go to a shorter time frame here. You can see the gap up here. So there was news, obviously. This was really consequential news. I have a YouTube video up on it, why this was consequential. If you go to the daily chart, you can see our next resistance is at the $18 level, a little above 18, 200 DMA. I know this company inside and out. The CEO is here in New York City this week. They're presenting at a conference also in Boston. This was a game-changing deal for Dario Health. I expect the stock to trade into the 20s and beyond, probably 30s and beyond here in the next few months. It may take an additional deal announcement to do it. It may take a conference call, just clarifying for everybody what's going on. There's lots of analysts following this, so I think you'll see analyst upgrades and updated information from analysts on that, which can also spark the stock to go up. Let's see. Any other stocks you want me to pull up, Jared? We can talk about.
Pull up Wesco. That's WCC.
All right, this is a new stock. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. WCC. This is not a story trading stock yet. I want to remind everyone, if you have a story, wow, this is a good chart. So if you have a stock idea you think could be VIP pick caliber, make your way to storytrading.com/submit capital VIP. Submit capital VIP. Wow, what is going on here? Tell us a little bit about this stock.
So this is not a stock that has some really magical new technology going on. This is just a very well run, very steady compounder. It's growing very fast, doing electrical wiring and internet installation. And And it has, as you can see, just a really, really, really nice chart. One of the things that's great is that if you look at the infrastructure bill that's winding its way through Congress right now, that's probably going to pass in some form. And there's a huge amount of funding, tens of billions
Wow.
of dollars dedicated to electrical rewiring and internet installation. So this is just going to be, if this is what they're doing before that money goes in, it's going to be doing even better once that funding actually starts heading in. And one of the reasons why I like stocks like this is because since the chart has been in such a very tight and consistent uptrend, it's a nice stock to buy calls on because having a good win rate on calls is super important. So if you buy a call spread, you can something like double your money, even if you're only anticipating that the stock is going to go up another 5% or something. I think it's going to definitely go up a lot more than 5%, but if you're feeling conservative and you say no, in the next 6 months, the stock's only going to go up 5%, you can double your money with a call debit spread anticipating just a 5% move. And you're probably going to be right because it's such a consistent uptrend chart. The other thing that's nice is because the stock is in such a consistent uptrend chart, if for some reason something does happen to it and it falls out, that's a very clear signal that, okay, something goes wrong. Maybe we need to reevaluate this, as opposed to a very volatile stock that's always going up and down. If it happens to go down 1 week, you don't know if that's a sign that there has been a shift out of institutional money or if it's just the normal volatility that you always see. So it gives you more confidence that things will go well. And if things don't go well, you have more of a clear signal for when to cut your losses.
Great. And by the way, I agree with some of those strategies. Look at this. Here's some fundamental charts on WCC. Quarterly revenue just exploding, EBITDA doing well. I like to look at the 12-month trailing for, sometimes you get a smoother picture of that. So let's see what the 12-month trailing EBITDA and revenue look like.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
what
just a
is
really
going on
well-run
over here?
company. Well, here's I
What is
read
this
the
big surge in revenue? Is that through is that because of an acquisition? Do you know?
yes, they did an acquisition that acquired a company that was involved in electronics for creating electrical circuits. And one of the things that's really nice about the management here is I read the earnings call transcript, and they said other companies that do this industry will always attempt to undercut competitors on prices. We don't do that. We don't charge the lowest prices. What we do is we offer reliability, and that's really important in the supply chain disruption era. We tell the company that we're working with, we're not necessarily going to give you the absolute lowest prices, but we can 100% guarantee you we will give you the components and we will get the installation done on time. And they said, with all of our sort of fly by night, lower price competitors, there's always this risk that they'll make a low ball bid just to get accepted, and then they won't actually be able to deliver because there'll be delays or they won't be able to get the parts they need. Having a reputation as someone that can always get the job done on time no matter what is worth its weight in gold, and that allows us to charge more and still get the contracts. And so that mentality of being reliable and not always undercutting yourself on price, I think is absolutely the right mindset for a construction company like this.
Right. Thank you. We got another tip from Ramet 1999. Manelli on an earlier tip, she says, I'm up 756% on air, all thanks to StoryTrading and Ben. Ben Stern, please explain how to tip on iPhone. I don't know. I guess you got to figure out. There's probably a dollar symbol there. Something you can follow and figure out. Perhaps we'll be back in the future and you can try that in the future. So in any case, great conversation with you today, Jared. Let me see if there's any other closing slides we need to show everybody. Let's just get this up here. So again, there's that little dollar symbol if you want to tip. Last chance to tip Jared. VIP events, we got tons of them. Not all of them make it. I mean, they come up so fast and furious. Not all of them make it up to the website. If you are a VIP member, you get into a WhatsApp room, and all of our information and events and everything is shared with our subscribers in the WhatsApp room. Please follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. We're growing really fast. Lots of exciting things happening. We have a couple more presentations coming up this week. I believe we have Jonah Lupton coming back. He actually presented UPST, Upstart, to StoryTrading as a VIP pick sometime back. It's done incredible. And we're going to invite him back to get an update on UPST Upstart Holdings this Friday, mid-morning or so. So we'll follow up on that. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Take care.